Evan and Marcus used to joke that they were brothers separated at birth. Their friendship stretched back to high school, two lanky boys who found safety in each other when the world around them felt too heavy. They grew into adulthood side by side, shared apartments, shared goals, shared dreams. Evan became a software engineer with a quiet intensity, and Marcus, bold and charismatic, built a thriving real estate business. They were two halves of a single engine, pushing each other through life. When Evan married Claire and Marcus married Jenna, it felt like life had finally rounded out in a perfect circle. The four of them looked like an inseparable squad, double dates, backyard barbecues, weekend getaways. But perfect circles sometimes hide cracks, and soon the smallest fractures began to widen. Claire and Jenna had never truly liked each other. On the surface they smiled, but beneath something colder simmered. Claire thought Jenna was manipulative. Jenna thought Claire acted too superior. Both held grudges, both whispered suspicions, and slowly those whispers grew teeth. The trouble began small: lost messages, misinterpreted texts, questions that sounded innocent but weren't. "Marcus said you've been distant lately," Claire told Evan one night. Evan frowned. Why would he say that? "That's what Jenna told me," she replied. And on Marcus's side, Jenna stirred her own pot. "Evan seems jealous lately," she whispered while Marcus tied his shoes. "Jealous of what?" "Of your success," Jenna said. Claire overheard him complaining about it. Evan never said such a thing. Claire never overheard anything. But their wives' words placed invisible wedges between the men. The next blow came harder. One Friday, Evan received an anonymous email containing a photo, Marcus in what looked like Evan's home office, rummaging through a drawer holding a folder labeled confidential. Another message followed minutes later. "This is the man you trust. Ask him why he was there without your permission." Evan's chest tightened. The timestamp on the photo seemed real. He called Marcus immediately. "Why were you in my house?" Evan demanded. Marcus, confused, said, "What are you talking about? I wasn't." "I saw the pictures," Evan snapped. "Stop lying." Marcus hung up. On Marcus's side, a similar fire erupted. He received a text from a blocked number containing a voice clip, Evan's voice altered but believable. "He thinks he's better than me," the voice said. "His wife too. I could ruin him if I wanted." Marcus felt his stomach churn. He dialed Evan back, furious. "You want to ruin me, after everything?" "What the hell are you talking about?" Evan shot back. "I heard you, Jenna heard it too." "Jenna," Evan muttered, "of course." The yelling escalated. Years of loyalty crashed under the weight of accusations neither man understood. For the first time in their entire friendship, they ended the call not with a sigh or a joke, but with silence, cold, heavy silence that settled into both their hearts. The next weeks spiraled fast. Meetings cancelled, house visits ignored, the wives fed the flames. Claire pushed Evan, "You need better people around you." Jenna whispered into Marcus's ear, "He's become toxic, cut him off." Screenshots, recordings, anonymous hints, false manufactured evidence dropped like bombs into their lives. Slowly, the bond that had survived decades cracked open. Then came the night everything detonated. A police cruiser pulled up to Marcus's house. Two officers stepped out, asking about a broken window at Evan's place. Evan had reported vandalism. Someone had thrown a brick through his office window with a note inside, "Stay away." The police asked Marcus where he had been that night. Jenna chimed in before he could answer. "He was here," she said firmly, "the whole time." But she looked too calm, too polished, too ready with her statement. Marcus didn't see it yet, but the seed had been planted. Evan heard from Claire. "Jenna said Marcus threatened you last week. She said you were scared to tell me." Evan stared at her. "I never said that." "Well, that's what she told me." The pressure was building, and neither man understood that they weren't fighting each other. They were fighting shadows cast by someone else. The friendship broke the next morning. Evan drove to Marcus's office and confronted him in the parking lot. Their argument drew stares from passing strangers. Their words bruised what trust remained, and for the first time, both walked away believing the other had become someone dangerous. 2 months passed. The relationship that once powered their lives now left an aching emptiness. Their wives pretended to comfort them, masking smug satisfaction. Tension seeped into their homes. Nights turned cold, smiles felt forced, their careers faltered, their minds spun with confusion. And then, everything changed with a single mistake. One night Jenna forgot to lock her tablet. Marcus, searching for photos, noticed a folder titled, Project Breakwater. Inside were messages, payments, instructions, all between Jenna and an unknown number marked only as Client X. He opened one message, his eyes widening. Ensure Evan sees the forged photo Monday. Claire will handle the voice clip. Once they break, the rest is easy. The board wants them divided. Marcus felt the blood rush from his face. He scrolled deeper. Screenshots of fabricated evidence, voice clips doctored using AI tools, templates for fake emails, images edited to show Marcus in Evan's office, all engineered, all calculated. Another message chilled his spine. When their partnership collapses, we acquire the contracts. Your bonus will be transferred immediately. Marcus sank into the couch, heart pounding, hands shaking. His wife had been lying, manipulating, orchestrating the destruction of the only true friendship he ever had. And Claire, was she part of this too? He didn't confront Jenna. He couldn't trust himself. Instead, he grabbed his keys and drove across town, adrenaline flooding him. He parked outside Evan's house, packing on the sidewalk until Evan stepped out, surprised but guarded. "What do you want, Marcus?" Evan asked coldly. "We need to talk," Marcus said, breath unsteady. "I'm done talking." "It wasn't me," Marcus blurted. "None of it, and it wasn't you either." Evan stopped. Marcus handed him his phone with trembling fingers. "Read this." Evan scrolled, his jaw slackened, his heartbeat stuttered. Every lie, every deception, every planted doubt was there, spelled out in pixelated truth. His knees buckled. "Claire," he whispered. Marcus exhaled shakily. "They played us, man." Evan closed his eyes. The pain cut deep, but beneath the agony was something stronger, fury. "We're going to destroy whoever did this," Evan said quietly. Marcus nodded. "Together." It was the first thing they agreed on in months. But before they could move forward, they needed the full truth. Who paid their wives? Why? And what exactly were Claire and Jenna promised in return? The road ahead wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be clean, but it would be theirs. And revenge was a language both men now spoke fluently. Evan didn't sleep. He sat in the dark of his living room with Marcus beside him, both men staring at the damning messages laid out like a blueprint of betrayal. By dawn, the shock had hardened into clarity. They needed answers and retribution. The first step was simple: confront Claire. When she came down the stairs, still groggy, still stretching, still pretending to play the role of devoted wife, Evan felt a coldness settle in his chest. She kissed his cheek, a gesture that suddenly felt poisonous. "You're up early," she murmured. "We need to talk," Evan said, voice steady. As soon as he showed her the messages, Claire's face changed, a flicker of panic quickly masked by a controlled expression. She reached for the tablet, but Evan pulled it back. "Don't," he warned. Claire tried to recover. I can explain." Marcus folded his arms. "Please do." She swallowed hard. "Look, Jenna and we were approached months ago by a group representing a corporation that wanted influence over your partnership. They said you two were about to sign a multi-million-dollar deal with a tech real estate hybrid firm. They wanted that deal to fall apart so they could step in." Evan blinked. "So they paid you to destroy my friendship, my life." Claire looked down. "They said it wasn't personal, just business." "That's the problem," Evan muttered, the words coated in bitterness. "It was personal to us." Claire's voice shook. "We didn't think it would go this far." Marcus snapped. "You forged evidence, you created threats, you accused us of things that could have cost us careers, maybe even freedom. Don't pretend you didn't know the consequences." Claire trembled. "They told us if we didn't do it, they'd expose things about us." Evan shook his head slowly. "That's not an excuse." There was nothing left to say. Claire broke down crying, but Evan didn't comfort her. The betrayal was too deep, too measured. What she did wasn't a slip, it was a campaign. Marcus turned away. "We need to talk to Jenna." Jenna didn't cry. When they confronted her, she stood in her kitchen with crossed arms, chin raised in defiance. "So you found out," she said coldly. "You were going to find out eventually." Marcus felt like he was staring at a stranger. Why would you do this to me? This wasn't about you, she scoffed. It was about opportunity, money, influence. These people promised more than you ever could. Marcus inhaled sharply. You destroyed Evan's window. You sent anonymous messages. You. Oh please, Jenna cut in. Don't act shocked. The world isn't built on friendship, it's built on leverage. So you betrayed the man who trusted you the most? Evan asked. Jenna smirked. I did what I had to, and for what it's worth you two made it easy. You trusted each other too much. Anyone could have pried you apart. Marcus stepped forward, anger rising. Tell us who paid you. Jenna's eyes glittered with something smug. Why would I? You're already broken. Evan leaned in, his voice low, controlled, dangerous. We're not broken, we're just getting started. Jenna's confidence faltered for the first time. But they didn't waste more words. The men left her standing alone in her own arrogance. Back outside, Marcus turned to Evan. We're not going to the police. Evan nodded. No, this is ours. They headed to Marcus's office, neutral ground, empty at that hour, a place where they once strategized business deals. Now they planned something far more personal. First step, identify client X. Marcus dug through Jenna's emails and payment receipts. Many were routed through shell accounts, offshore transfers, encrypted networks. Sophisticated but not perfect. A pattern emerged. A company name that appeared too many times to be accidental. Titan Holt Holdings, a powerful investment and acquisition firm known for swallowing smaller companies whole. Evan stared at the name. I know them, he said quietly. We were negotiating with their biggest rival. So they wanted us out of the way, Marcus muttered. And they used our wives to do it. Their plan formed quickly, not sloppy rage but calculated payback. Step 1, leak the truth to Titan Holt's competitors. Step 2, trick Titan Holt into exposing their involvement. Step 3, take back the deal the corporation tried to steal. Step 4, make sure Claire and Jenna faced consequences far worse than jail, consequences that struck where it hurt most, their reputations, their alliances, their financial security. Revenge wouldn't be loud, it would be surgical. Evan and Marcus spent the next week working in secret. Marcus used his real estate connections to get intel from brokers, investors, and analysts. Evan used his software expertise to trace digital footprints without detection. They were stronger together than they ever were apart. By day 5, Evan cracked the encrypted sender linked to Claire and Jenna's instructions. The message chain led directly to Titan Holt's vice president, Leonard Vasquez, a man known for hostile acquisitions. His signature sat at the bottom of several emails approving staged sabotage. Marcus whistled softly. We got him. Evan leaned back. Now we make him pay. Their next move required acting. They drafted an anonymous dossier compiling everything. Forged evidence, voice clips, instructions, payments, screenshots, timestamps, even insider messages from Jenna's tablet. Then they delivered copies to the rival corporation Titan Holt feared the most, Crestfall Industries. Crestfall's executive director, Olivia Reed, didn't hesitate. She saw the opportunity instantly. A major scandal involving Titan Holt, fuel for a takeover. On day 8, Evan and Marcus received an encrypted message from Olivia. We're moving, watch the news. 2 days later, the story broke. High-profile acquisition firm under investigation for corporate sabotage scheme. Vice president implicated in fraudulent actions against entrepreneurs. Anonymous whistleblowers leak dossier to several agencies. Titan Holt went into meltdown. Leonard Vasquez was suspended pending investigation. Shareholders panicked. Stock plummeted nearly 20% in one afternoon. Marcus smiled grimly. Phase 1 complete. But the most important part was still to come. Phase 2, expose Claire and Jenna. Not out of pettiness, not out of revenge alone, but to take away the power they believed they held over the men they tried to break. Evan invited Claire to a public restaurant, the same one where they celebrated their 3rd anniversary. She arrived looking nervous, trying to mask it with makeup and jewelry. She slid into the booth. You wanted to talk, she asked. Evan nodded. Yes, I want to give you a choice. Claire stiffened. What choice? Evan slid an envelope across the table. Inside were copies of every message Jenna sent her, every instruction, every payment. Claire's eyes widened. Why would you? You're going to confess the truth, Evan said calmly. Publicly, to my partners, to the board, and to the people you lied to. You're going to explain how you sabotaged my career, my friendships, and my safety. Claire shook her head, panic rising. Evan, if people see this, I'll lose everything. You already lost me, he replied. This is about accountability. She swallowed hard. And if I refuse? Evan's gaze hardened. Then every news outlet that covered the Titan Holt scandal will receive this envelope in the morning. Claire's breath trembled. She looked at him with the understanding that the man she once manipulated had outgrown her influence. I'll do it, she whispered. Marcus confronted Jenna next. But Jenna wasn't fearful, she was furious. You think you can threaten me, she hissed. Marcus smirked, not threaten in form. He set his phone on the table, playing a recording, Jenna's own voice admitting she forged the first text message that started the fight. Her face paled. Where did you? You left your tablet unlocked, he interrupted. Your arrogance made this easy. Jenna stepped back. You can't prove anything. Not by myself, Marcus said, but with Claire's confession, with Titan Holt falling apart, you don't stand a chance. For the first time since this began, Jenna's facade cracked. What do you want? A confession, Marcus replied. Then I want you gone, out of my house, out of my finances, out of my future. Jenna lunged toward him, clawing for control. You'll regret this. Marcus shook his head. No, my biggest regret was thinking you ever cared about me. In the end, Jenna chose self-preservation over pride. 2 days later, both women delivered sworn statements admitting their involvement. They implicated Titan Holt's vice president. They acknowledged the forged evidence. They explained exactly how they manipulated the men closest to them. The statements went public. Claire and Jenna were socially disgraced, losing friends, connections, credibility. Their families distanced themselves. Claire moved back with her parents. Jenna fled to her sister in another state. Their empire of lies collapsed as swiftly as they built it. But the final stage of Evan and Marcus's revenge was not destruction, it was resurrection. Together, they rebuilt the partnership they once had. Crestfall Industries offered them a new contract, bigger than the one Titan Holt tried to steal. Their business grew. Their names circulated in entrepreneurial circles with respect. They spoke at conferences about resilience, unity, and surviving sabotage. But the greatest victory wasn't fame or money. It was standing side by side again, stronger than ever. One night, months after everything ended, Evan and Marcus sat on the hood of Marcus's truck overlooking the city. The skyline glowed beneath a velvet blue sky. You know, Evan said, for a moment I thought I truly lost you. Marcus chuckled softly. Man, I thought you hated me. Evan shook his head. Not anymore. Marcus nodded. We're good. Better than good, Evan said. We're unbreakable now. The wind carried their laughter through the night, lighter, freer, reborn. Revenge hadn't been about hurting the women who betrayed them. It had been about taking back the truth they almost lost. It had been about reclaiming brotherhood. And in the end, Evan and Marcus stood tall, not just as best friends, but as warriors who survived the kind of battle few friendships could endure. Their story was not one of destruction, but one of rebirths. Together they began again,